I'm your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is the talented and beautiful Ms. Stone. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what uncensored is, uncensored's my way of showing people that even if we're learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of disabilities or learning disabilities. But you should never give up and prove to people you can still amount to something. And like I said, it's a half hour, 45 minutes of your time. You can say anything you want, curse if you want to. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to pass the show over to you. I'm going to put you in charge. And like I said, it's just a normal conversation, and you're making a new friend out of it.
Cool, right on.
And after the show, I do have a couple questions I'd like to talk to you about.
All right.
So starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, let's see. I am a Jacqueline of many trades. I started off, I wanted to help humanity, and that actually led me to go into social work. I wanted to be the change I could see in the world. And I was working at it, and I realized, oh my gosh, like a lot of the social workers are themselves incomplete people. So they're the so-called experts trying to help other people. And I just found it was like a perpetual cycle of nonsense. So then I was like, well, I think I need to do some work on myself so that I can actually be an example, like yourself, of somebody who is actually overcoming. Because we all have obstacles, right? And to recognize that nobody is perfect, and we all have things that we have to overcome. So the humility of being able to accept that which you cannot change, and being actually able to embark and do the work that you need to do to actually get somewhere. So I was, trying to figure out how to help myself, and I thought that the social work platform would kind of help me to do that, but it gave me more questions than answers. Good because I'm very curious by nature. So I started on this whole journey of internal exploration. I basically call it an internal makeover. And I think it's definitely ongoing. I mean, you're never going to be done. You know what I'm saying? But I really started working within. And then I went to a Vipassana meditation, which was kind of fascinating and fabulous, totally rocked my world. It was 10 days of silence. And if you get any idea right now, I'm a talker, right? So people are always like in shock. What? You did what? So yeah, I actually was 10 days in silence, and that kind of forces you to look at yourself, you know what I'm saying? And you may not like what you see. I mean, a lot of people get like, we're gosh darn ridiculous about it, and they have to leave after 3 days. That for the entire duration, and I can say now that I am actually actively meditating and looking to improve myself. And so that has actually helped, because when you do the work, other people see that and they reflect that, right? So it's been really beautiful. But I realized that in social work, as beautiful a field as it is, I didn't want to profit from people's misery, if that makes any sense, because I actually wanted to help the homeless. And then I'm like, well, because you're homeless, I'm getting a paycheck. It didn't really mesh well with my internal. So I had to step away from that. And then I was like, lost like a foot in the wind. Like, what do I do now? So I say that I was actually discovered by the homeless because they're like, you're very random and animated, and you should have your own show. And I'm like, really? That is so strange. Why do you say that? And then I noticed, like, I started looking at my life, and I'm like, no matter where I was in the world, like third world Guyana, helping out, humanitarian mission, and all of a sudden, there's a camera. Oh, show us today. And I'm like, what's happening? And then post Hurricane Katrina, same thing. So tell us about what it is that brings you here. Well, obviously, there's a whole thing here. So it was just kind of like an ongoing pattern. I guess people say it's a calling, and I finally picked up the call. So here I am today. That leads me to your fabulous show, Keith Andrew Network, which spells, acronym-wise, CAN.
No, if it keeps walking up, you probably have to do it over.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But let's say, I would love to do the interview in person if you could set it up. This is a perfect example of why I'm hesitant about doing things over the internet, because it's got to look like, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's dodgy and you can't account, like, things can happen. If I have that ability, I know that right now they are very grassroots. They're trying to get more funding. So it's possible to fly you down. I know that I would definitely for that. And will be possible. So I think we have to work with what we have and recognize that it's growing and that it can be possible down the line, even if it's not possible at this very moment.
All right, well, like I said, I can always, if you would recommend any hotels, I can always stay at a hotel, and probably for my birthday I can get an enhanced license. But if you're willing to do something like, say, in the spring, I'm down for that. That would be great.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally down. I mean, I would love to. I would love to. I think we should do it in person. I mean, this whole Skype sketch thing is, it's fun when it's working, but then in the between moments, you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, I'm just very passionate about giving the best product and the best interviews, and when it freezes up, and I'm like, this is gonna make for a horrible interview.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, you work with what you got, and people, I know that, for example, there's what's that platform? It's on Twitter. It's Periscope. Yeah, so like people were doing that. There's like gajillionaires on Periscope. And the thing is, they're having so many difficulties. Android and Apple, they're all like, apparently on the 26th, they're going to be addressing all of the hiccups. But even with all the hiccups, these people are still making it work. So I feel like people are understanding about technology and they're going to give it a chance. I mean, if the whole thing was maybe not, but it might actually make for some comedic moments.
That's true. Now, I don't know if we got an answer because it locked up, but how many years have you been doing this?
I have been doing this now for about 3 years. Yeah, so the live music showcase has been about 3 years. There was the Albuquerque one. That one was about just a few months. The other one, yeah, I've had a whole plethora. I'd have to look at my resume, but it's all over the map, all over the map. But I feel like I have been acting my whole life, and I feel like I've always had my own talk show because I don't shut up. But I also think that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so you listen twice as much as you speak.
That's right. Now I'm going to pass this show over to you. Was there anything you want to ask me or any subjects you want to talk about? This is your time after all.
Well, I want to know what is next for you.
Well, when you act like that, what do you can have a perfect example?
Well, like when your dad starts saying, well, this is just a hobby.
Yeah.
This is your dad impression, even though I have no idea. I've never met him. It's just a hobby. You need to get a real job.
Yeah.
So what is your definition of a real job? What are you going to do? Are you going to, in fact, take his advice and just let this be a passing moment? Or are you planning on making a career of this? And what would be next on the horizon in that capacity?
Well, I would like to be you. I would love to work with a network and have my own studio and talk show. I would like to take this to the next step. Right now I'm working in a retail store. I won't mention the name of it, but I basically charge a lot of things on my credit card. So once I pay off the credit cards, I can start getting interviewed in the city. Like I said, if you could roll in to help me out, we can do our interview in person.
Yeah, that'd be so boss.
And it's like, you help me, I help you. You can advertise me, I can advertise you. We can talk about that after the show. But
cool.
I'm just doing my best, with a learning disability. I promote myself, I advertise myself, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's just, I really hope it turns into something. I'm very passionate I give nothing but the best, and I really hope it does turns into something. I'm working on it 24/7.
Cool. So when's your birthday? You said your birthday's coming up, and then things can change, and you could come over here.
Oh, my birthday's in January, so I was thinking either
Oh,
for the holidays or my birthday, I'm gonna get the enhanced license. In the meantime, if I don't get fired, I can tell
don't say that. Yeah, power in words, but
I can tell you what happened after the show.
yeah.
But if I keep the job, just pay off the credit card, and once it's both paid off, I can go to New York City, and because I interviewed people who have their own talk shows, and I can take the bus, now. I can go to part of Florida, and that's the next question I was going to ask you. Have you ever been in New York City? But
Woo!
they
Big
they
apple.
they said, oh, just take the bus and come to part of Florida. And I was like, okay, I can do that, $42 one way, a round trip, whatever. And then I was like, then what I do? Because I never been there. I know I'm gonna scare the shit out of myself because why put yourself in a position when it's like, oh, I can't wait to, oh crap, I'm 1,000 miles away, I'm here by myself, I don't know anyone, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. So that's why I said it's let's see, a taxi company I talked to says 137 one way. Screw it. $300 round trip. Okay, I can swallow that.
Yeah.
Pay it off. Do it again. Pay it off. That's graduate. Take the taxi from point A to point B instead of taking a bus that's $32, and then you have to get into a taxi, a city taxi, and I don't know. I like making things simple. I turn things into a project, and that's a funny story I would like to tell you after. But first question I was gonna ask you was, have you ever been to the city?
I have loved it.
I used to work over in a retail place, and when I first started, and my boss at the time would say, "This is the most easiest thing you can do. Don't mess it up." And I can turn the most simplest tiny little thing into a massive project. I'm like, Jesus, Keith, I just told you to do this one little thing, and now we have to do this, and you have to do that, and you turn this into a big hassle. And it's like, yeah, I would say it's a talent for me to mess things up. I don't think something to brag about.
Well, I mean, everybody has a talent for something. I mean, if you overcomplicate the simple, I mean, it's still a talent. That's why they invented troubleshooters, right? And people that can, those people that are testing the games to see if they're going to, like, cop out and all these things, crap out. I mean, there's a skill there. They need people like that. There's an outlet for everyone. You just have to find it.
Now, when you were in the city, what brought you to the city, and have you ever been interviewed?
In New York. Let's see. What did I do there? I just wanted to go there for shits and giggles, to be honest. I had always, the first time I went there, it was with the girls, and so it was a girls' vacay, and, we went shopping and took in all these different shows and whatnot, and I was like, this is a pretty fun place, and I heard it was like an overgrown Toronto, but I see some similarities, but it has its own flavor, and I really like it. Next time I went down, I went with my sister, and again, it was more of a social thing. I think I've had some auditions out there, and it's been challenging for me to get there because I am self-represented. I don't have an agent, so I don't have anyone to negotiate the travel arrangements and all that on my behalf. And then it comes down to, well, they want me here close to home, and they want me there, so I have to, obviously take the practical route. I do want to go down there again, though. I have had an inkling Absolutely. Have I been interviewed before? Definitely. It's always fun. Let's see, the last interview I had, yeah, usually it's me doing the interviewing. It's been like off camera kind of interviews, or then it's been people that want to showcase. Actually, I was showcased on Pass Blog, which is like the antithesis of fail blog. So they want to showcase people's achievements. And so I was there for their inception, and the editor there wanted to feature me because she's like, well, look at you, you're going out to Webequie. So I went out to, it's the northern part of Canada, and it was like, very much like almost fourth world conditions. And so when people think of Canada, they think, oh, land of the privileged, amazing. Well, no, I went where the natives live. I'm part native myself. And so it was a real like lesson, holy moly. Like you had no roads. The only way they could get groceries there were to fly them. You had a high percentage of people that were on OxyContin, a lot of like drug use, suicide, people just nothing to live for. And so it was really a humbling moment and sad to see that. But I was so honored to be flown down and to be able to start to raise awareness about these things. So I was amazed that they wanted to showcase me. I'm like, oh no, there's so many more deserving people out there. But it was quite an honor too.
Now, they're going back to your talk show. Who were the biggest guests you ever interviewed? And if we did the interview in person, are you in your studio right now, or do you have your own studio, or what can you tell us about it?
All right. Well, the biggest guest, I've had some directors on, which is fun. And so one of the directors, why is the name escaping me? I am having a brain fart right now. It will come to me. I'll get back to you on the director's name. But it was for the director's chair, and so it was a really neat way to be able to showcase people that are, making strides in the community, and here was an award winner, and really amazing stuff like that. I've definitely had the opportunity to rub shoulders with people that have, been going places. Patricia Jaggernaut is another one that I interviewed. She's a weather girl here in Toronto, very driven, motivated, has made quite a name for herself. I think she was named one of the hottest weather girls in the world or something like that. But not only is she beautiful on the outside, she's beautiful on the inside too. So that was a really neat thing. But yeah, I would definitely say, like, I've met a lot of really remarkable people. A lot of the unknowns I find are really what resonates with me, because their story seems to be so poignant, but I find the human condition fascinating. I can't really choose one person that stands out more than others, because I feel like everybody that crosses my path for a reason. I can learn so much from them, whether they're my friend or they're my enemy. They're coming to my life for a reason, right? So it's pretty awesome stuff. Awesome sauce. What was your other question?
Oh, what's your studio like? Are you in your studio now? Or if we did our interview in person, would you have your own studio, or how would we do that?
Yes, actually, there is a studio. I'm not in my studio now. This is my home. I'm just chilling like Bob Dylan. But in fact, usually when I am in the mode of interviewing, we do have a green screen room. There is a studio. I know they're expanding for the Disability Network, so we're going to have a bigger studio, which is really exciting. But right now it is a smaller studio, but it has all the equipment there, soundproof, all that jazz, good crew together. So it'll be really neat to have you there in person. I think we're going to make it happen. I feel that. And it's just a really cool vibe. You're going to love it. It's a nice atmosphere. It's cozy,
All right. Now, I know I repeated myself, but I don't mean to. But do you think my talk show and my program and Uncensored, and what Uncensored is, it's not like I'm going to say the F word, or I'm going to say, oh, he's going to say the F word, he's going to show girls or boobs. That's not really what Uncensored is. even though you can say whatever you want, but uncensored is freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. You can express yourself, say whatever you want, and just be who you are. Like I'm being me right now, and you're being you. Yeah, that's what uncensored is, and a lot of people say that's great. A lot of people get turned off as soon as I said uncensored. I got into a couple arguments with people who said, "Why is your show uncensored? You gotta say this, you gotta say the F word, C word, B word." That's completely up to you. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. If you get me fired up, yeah, I'm gonna start, going on a rant or whatever. But you're missing the point. What uncensored is? It's freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression, and I like the name, and that's why I went for it. And there's other people like, well, I don't want to be on your show if you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and well, on the subject, I have interviewed people that said, "Oh, you're doing this great thing, and I would love to be part of it." Or I was like, "Yeah, you're doing a great thing, but you're hurting my career." And this is where people I did interview, and I got into an argument with someone recently saying, "Oh, she's a lawyer. I wouldn't trust her as far as I can throw her." She said to me, "Tell me about your show." Okay, I'm gonna write it down. You get signed an email and whatever. And I'm sorry to bitch to you if you don't want to hear this.
No, I do want to hear it. I'm fascinated.
And she said, "I'm gonna send you an email." And it's like, "Oh, if I change my mind, take the interview down." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna give you 30 days. So after the 30 days, I can do whatever I want with the interview." And it's like, "Yeah, well, if I don't want it to be shown, I want it to not be there. Okay, that's fine." Yeah, I was like, why are we doing an interview in the first place if you don't want to be seen? And that brings up the next point. People who I did interview, like 6 months, says, "Oh, that was a great interview." Yeah, and a couple of weeks later, "Yeah, can you take it down? You're hurting my career, or I'm embarrassed to be seen with you, or be."
Wow.
I got people saying that you're hurting my career. I'm embarrassed to be seen with people like you. Wasn't what I expected. You are a liar. You put a front on. And I'm like, then why did you waste my time doing the interview if you weren't gonna take it seriously? And then I only take people like you. I only take you seriously if you really mean it. I'm not gonna say, "Yeah, let's do it, and we can do it for the hell of it." Yeah, when I first started out, it's like, "Yeah, whatever, get the numbers up." But then I was like, having people come back right at you after a week, after 2 weeks, or a month, saying, "Hey, I changed my mind. My publicist, my agent, my company, my this, my that," saying you're embarrassment, you're doing this. It's shameful. I don't put up with stupidity like that. It's like if you give me your word and I give you my word, I stand by it. I'm very professional. The one thing that drives me crazy is being disrespected and lied to.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like Uncensored should showcase all of the behind the scenes nonsense that you deal with, like people turning on you like that. That's unbelievable to me. But it just goes to show you like how many phony people there are out there. Like wasting your time, wasting your talents, and quite frankly, I would say, it's these people are there in your life to teach you a lesson, and it's really about making you stronger and making you realize that you know what, you're not going to take their shit. At the end of the day, I mean, that's pretty sad that somebody can't even be seen on camera, like doesn't want to show their face. Like, what a remarkable, like that's really to be that ashamed of yourself that you can't even show yourself. Like, I'm sorry, that's a tragedy. Like, talk about being in hiding, talk about not being true to yourself. I mean, here you are, and you're basically naked. You know what I mean? Like, in the sense that you are letting it all hang out. You are being visible, and you are putting yourself out there. And that is a tremendous strength. And a lot of people are going to look at that as a weakness and poo-poo you and, you know, come down on you and say all these things, but you're still going at it. You're still going to bat every time. And if anything, that should make your ammunition and your ambition even stronger. Like, sticking it to them, like, you know what, you can say what you want, you can try to pull me down, you can try to take away my material, but at the end of the day, you're not going to take anything, because you know what, that's all within, and they can't take that away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to ask you two more questions. I'm going to pass it back over to you, then we can wrap up.
Okay.
When I approached you on social media about being a guest, so what made you say yes? And number two, if someone said, like, I don't know, your company, are you still there? Or did it freeze again? Guys, sorry about that. You know, Skype is really pissing me off. I love Skype, but sometimes Skype just pisses me off.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's see what I was saying. Well, on social media, what made you say yes to me? And
It's like, look at you, even on the show, so I had to say yes. I had to. As for if anybody ever told me what to do, take it down, I tell them basically.
Could you repeat yourself? I got nothing what you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, sure thing. When I was approached by you on social media, I was really impressed by your courage, your complete willpower, how driven you were. Just the fact that you laid it all out there. You weren't afraid to tell me what you thought, and you were so focused, and like, you really knew what you wanted, and it impressed me. It impressed me a lot. And I'm not somebody who's easily impressed. I mean, I've seen a lot of posers, people out there that want to, you know, placate themselves, peacock, and all this nonsense. And, you know, really, I'm one of those people that are just, you know, like, yeah, so what? But there was something about your message, your tone, your delivery. You laid it all out, who you are, what you're aiming to achieve here, and the fact that you wanted to include me on it. I was actually very honored and humbled. And I knew I had to say yes. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. As for, what was the second question?
Oh, this, like I was telling you, you know, people say, oh, this was a great...
Oh! It's pausing. Wait for it. Okay. Is it back? Is it back? Yeah. It's back. Yes, thank you for jogging my memory. Yes. In fact, I was completely... Okay, is it back? It is. Okay. Wow, I just totally lost my train of thought there.
I'll give you a perfect example. I interviewed a comedian, I interviewed a fitness person, someone who had their own company, and they said, well, I'm honored to be on your show, and I didn't mean to bitch to you, I apologize. But
we all need a venting board. This is uncensored. Let it all hang out.
That's true. But I interviewed a comedian, someone who works out, and all these other things, and they said it was a great interview. I was nervous in the beginning, but it was great. You can ask me for anything. I will always support you, and it's true. You help me, I help you, and they just I can't snap my fingers. And that's 2 weeks, a month go by. They say, do me a favor, keep some private, and it didn't bother me. They said, let's keep it on private. And it's like, how long? Maybe a couple of weeks. Okay. But then, like, after a couple months, it's like, I want you to keep it on private. Okay. Second person, keep it on private. Keep it on private. And I'm like, if I can't use the interview, then why did you waste my time? And okay, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I'm going to tell you the truth. My agent said, it was degrading. It said it was beneath me. It said that you were a hypocrite. It said that you were lying. It's hurting my career. It's doing this. It's doing that. And I'm like, you couldn't just be upfront with me sooner? You're just, okay, what about extending my, as I said to you, I'm extending my hand to you in friendship. And then I would like, you would like throw it back in my face, like, well, okay, you didn't want the interview. What about the friendship part? Yeah, I was just doing it to be nice, but I want nothing to do with you. So the question to you is, would you do that? And would you think if your publicist, your agent, or whatever said this is degrading, would you think, yeah, it is? Or do you think no matter what you say, I'm going to support them because it's a good message?
I am absolutely on board with your final statements. I would support you irregardless. If anybody ever told me that I have to take this down, well, not only is this showcasing you, but it's showcasing me, who we really are. I mean, we've laid it out on the line here. I've been completely truthful from my heart. And if anybody told me that it was degrading, that I have to take it down, that I shouldn't align myself with you or something like that, I would tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine. Because at the end of the day, I am nobody's puppet. I am going to do what I want to do. I march to the beat of my own drum, and if anybody tells me what to do, I'd be like, yo, I don't think so. I've clashed with management in the past for that reason. Any boss or agent that is like a diaper that's full of shit and always on your ass, no, I don't think so. I am going to kick those people to the curb, because the people that I align myself with are the people that recognize that I'm all about empowerment and really aligning myself with inspirational people like yourself. So, you know what? I know that there are a lot of crummy people out there, and I'm sorry that you've had to deal with those experiences, but it's also kind of liberating too, because you realize, you see someone's true colors, you know? And that's a pretty awesome thing. At the end of the day, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, wrapping up, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners, how they can follow you on social media? And do you have any funny stories you'd like to share?
Well, let's see. I would like to say, I can't think of anything funny offhand. Huh. I'll have to come back. We'll have to have a part 2 at some point, maybe. I'll come up with some stuff. I know that there's some funny stuff in there. I just can't think of anything on the fly. But as for my fans, I say to you all, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And support Keith Andrew. He's awesome.